Greetings and welcome everyone to my first impressions of Foul Play. Now, before we get started, I just want to say, if you plan on playing this game with a keyboard, then I have very bad news for you. They really don't care about you and your keyboard. They much prefer you if you have an Xbox 360 controller, because if you don't, then you'll be constantly checking like the control options and being like, the fuck is an A button and what is a Y button, and for some reason they don't just bother to put both up on the screen at once. So you see, like, right now it says like press Y for an online game, and why not just like say the keyboard controls? Like occasionally it will actually, which is the weirdest part. They don't care, yet sometimes they will care. It's just it's confusing. It is really confusing. Anyway, with the whole them not caring about keyboards and out of the way and all of that. Actually, no. We're caring about keyboards again. Keyboards and mice. They don't even care about mice at all. Even less than keyboards, actually. They don't even bother to support like mouses and mice at all. So if you try to use your mouse at all, you're out of luck, because it just will not do anything. It doesn't work in the menus. It doesn't work in the game. I don't think you can even bind keys to it. Let's see, actually. Hold on, this is going to be a learning experience. Can we bind anything to the mouse? No, absolutely nothing can be bound to the mouse. So, that's lovely. Also, yeah, here are the controls. This is all rebindable, which is pretty cool. You can use your keyboard setup, which is that, but you won't, because then you'll be like, what the hell is RT? You'll come back and be like, oh, it's left shift, and then you'll have to come back eventually and be like, what the hell is showstopper, and it's E, and it's just like, ah, man, this is just too much. Also, for some reason, well, not for some reason, but thankfully, they've actually allowed you to use player 2 with the keyboard, which is pretty cool. I like that. So you're someone that can be using the keyboard and you can be using the controller, which is good. The bad part of that is, though, well, they still won't show you the buttons, so player 2 will be pretty confused as well, actually. So, with that being said, let's get on to Foul Play. Now, what is Foul Play about? Well, it's about these two British people doing things, I guess. Well, basically, they're trying to kill these monsters, and the monsters are, well, bad because they're monsters and stuff, so we gotta beat them up. I believe we're doing something or other. I don't know. I've been playing the game for a little while, and it's a very odd sort of story. It seems to be... I don't know. It seems like the sort of story that would be mostly parody, but it seems to take itself very seriously, and it takes itself very straight. So despite this whole comical graphic style and all that, or sorry, not comical rather, but graphical, like cartoon graphical style, it takes itself surprisingly seriously. With our only companion there that just went inside of our body, he's the only one that sort of just realizes that this is sort of all a joke and not real, which is pretty odd. Okay, so now you can see here we've got this little stage down here of people, and basically what they're there for is we're trying to impress them. The more we beat up these people, the more we'll impress them, and the more they'll feel great about the show and all that. So in terms of gameplay, it's just your basic like horizontal beat 'em up sort of thing. You know, you beat people up, then an arrow will come up saying, oh, you can go advance now, and stuff like that. There is a bit of a more in-depth, more sort of depth to it than most, like, hack and slashes, or sorry, not hack and slashes, beat 'em ups, but there's not that much in there. You can mostly just pretty much just rely on your main attack to just beat them. The whole thing is based around just impressing the crowd. So if you're just here for like a real challenging sort of experience, you probably won't get that unless you're shooting for 5 stars, which is making the crowd feel the absolute best as they can. Which is, you know, it's not an easy task by any means. It's actually surprisingly tough to try and get 5 stars, at least in solo. I haven't tried co-op. Maybe it'll be easier in co-op, but in single player, it's pretty tough to get 5 stars. You'll commonly get like 4 or 3 pretty easily, like without even trying you'll get 3 or 4. But 5, for some reason, it just seems a lot harder. Like, I've actually reached 4 stars, and then, like, on my moodometer up at the top there, it just sort of froze at 4 stars and wouldn't let me do anything more. Also, this is pretty cute. I like these moments when there's the janitor there and all that. That's very cute. So, in terms of gameplay, there's a bit to it. Okay, so you've got your basic attack, which you use by pressing X. You've got a jump button, which you can use with A. You really won't be using that at all. You've got your B button, which is used for your counter, sort of like Batman Arkham Asylum or something like that. You see, they'll do the little Spidey sense thing above them, saying that they're about to attack or whatever. Although shouldn't it be above him? But whatever. Anyway, it signifies that they're going to attack. You press B and then you'll counter them, and that's what it's useful for. You can counter them, then beat them up in midair. You can counter them, press Y and pile drive them, or you can just press B and then just... Oh, hold on, sorry, wait, I did that wrong. Just press B and then throw them like that. You can also do that. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with the combat. Also, here's something that's pretty annoying. Actually, no, never mind. I can't show you it right now. Never mind. Back to the combat and stuff. There is some real... Like, the combat does allow for a certain amount of death, but the only problem with it is the fact that you can't really see your moves while you're in the game. So that's really annoying. I'm not a fan of that at all. In order to see what moves you have unlocked and which moves you can do, you have to quit to the main menu, then look at the... look at your moves unlocked from the main menu. You can't do it while in-game for whatever reason. So if you want to experiment or do, like, one of the challenges on the side there, you'll have to quit to the main menu to find out what they mean. Like, okay, so, also, I suppose I should explain challenges. Challenges are basically things that will give you more points. Points to impress the crowd. The more you impress the crowd, the more... stars and all that jazz. And so you want to complete challenges. You can get a 5-star ranking without completing any challenges. I've done it before, so I know from personal experience that it can be done. But it helps if you do the challenges. So it says here, perform a perfect scene. That means just complete a scene without getting hit, which is basically like a certain section of the level. And then take out an enemy last, achieve a 50 times combo, stuff like that. And occasionally it'll come up with, like, perform this move 4 times, and it won't really tell you what that move is, and you'll have to check. But then it's like, oh, in order to find out what it actually is, I have to quit the game, and that's no fun, because then you have to come back, and I don't even think they have checkpoints. I actually haven't been bothered to check. The levels are genuinely short enough that I don't ever really feel like quitting in the middle of them. The normal levels, okay, so there are, the way the game is set up, there's 4 main levels, and then there's 1 final level, which is a boss fight, a dedicated boss fight. There are boss fights at the end of each individual level, but there's 1 level at the end of each world, or act, I believe, which is just a boss fight. So that's sort of just to make it more special and climactic and all that jazz. And so I've never really needed a checkpoint, so I've never actually bothered to check. I suppose I could check now. Let's just... quit to main menu, sure. Alright, so, yeah, so here, your Daemon Diary. This is actually the only way to find out your moves, which I believe is, yeah, here. This is the only ways to find out your moves that you have. This is the only way. So if you want to find out, like, what you can do while you're in the middle of a game, well, you're SOL. Let's just, alright, back to this level. So let's see if it does continue. If not, well, we're out of luck. Alright, let's see, come on. Yep, it doesn't continue, so there are no checkpoints or anything like that. Also, this is what is annoying. Yeah, you know how I said, like, oh, this part is also annoying and I'll get back to it? No, this right here. You can't skip the cutscenes. I've played this section before. Now I've played through it like 3 times, because I played through it just once when I was messing about, twice just to play through it for the sake of it without even realizing. Like this, when I first played it, I played it twice just to get better at the controls and stuff like that. And now I'm playing it through like a 3rd time just before. Now this is the 4th time, and I can't skip it despite having already read it all. I don't need to read this shit. Come on, let me skip it. I am perfectly fine with you having your story in my games. I'm fine with you, like, interrupting it and all that. I don't care about that. But as long as there's a skip button, let me skip. You can't skip any of this. Like, I wouldn't care the fact that, these cutscenes actually do pop up quite often in the game, if not for the fact that this game encourages that sort of replayability sort of thing, where you'll want to replay the game a lot in order to get, higher points and all that, completing all the challenges, that sort of stuff. But you're like, oh, I don't want to replay it. I gotta sit through all these cutscenes that I've already watched, and they don't change at all, which is really annoying. Maybe it's like a late level unlock where once you beat the game, then you can skip the cutscenes, and maybe that's the sort of thing that they're going for. But right now, there's no way for me to skip the cutscenes, and it is annoying, and I do not like it at all. I really do wish that I could skip them. Also, here's a nice little thing you can do. You can charge your attacks once you unlock them. You can also do the charge heavy attack, then you can do some aerial combat. The aerial combat is pretty cool, but like I said before, you won't really be using the jump button, so you'll just use your like sort of charge attacks and to do that, and yeah, that's much better. Also a pile driver there that you can do without having the counter is an attack that I just unlocked. You can press he just like jumped up so high, that was so weird. Yeah, so there's also the whole you know, you can press like RT and Y in order to like grapple someone while up top and then pile drive them and stuff like that. So there's a lot of moves in this game, that's pretty cool. But you might forget them, so then you gotta quit to the main menu and find out. Because, you know, having like a combo list in the main menu, no, that's far too complex. We can't have that, am I right? Right. It's not like games from like 1994 did that or whatever, my god. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's the main critique for this game. Give me a combo list or something like that. Something that'll show me which moves I have and which moves do what. That'd be really nice. Also, the sort of like, I don't know what you'd call it, but the way that this is set up is really odd. Like, it's going for this sort of like theater production sort of setting, but what it is weird is that they've got some really odd special effects going on here. Well, just effects, I guess. Like, you'll see at certain times, like, the extras, like, walking off stage and being like, oh, is it okay to go now, and stuff like that. And then at other times, they'll have, like, insane special effects, which are completely unrealistic and don't make any sense at all, and yet no one mentions it. Yet in the game, they'll constantly mention stuff like the extras yelling, or sorry, the audience yelling out to them and talking about it and mentioning how, oh, this is just a play and stuff like that. And yet they don't even mention any of the whole super special, awesome, mega special effects that totally couldn't be normal. Because, I mean, look at this stuff. Look at the background and stuff like that. Look what we've got here. We've got a sun. We've got clouds that are held up by strings. And so when they get, like, these mega special effects that, like, create black holes and suck people in, it's sort of a bit like, hold on, why aren't we questioning this? That's a bit odd. Also, by pressing RT or whatever the button is, I'm not used to the Xbox 360 controller buttons, but you can perform this sort of showstopper move. It allows you to do double hits for like each attack that you have, and then you'll also, I believe, it's basically just a way to help increase the mood that you have. Also, you can do a roll, which is interesting. Like, also that animation, oh my god, that is the most annoying animation ever, because you'll be like attacking some random people over here, and then you'll see that person get up, and you're like, oh god, I gotta attack him, get my combo up and all that. No, he's dead. But the animation is pretty annoying. Hate it. There is another animation where they just use a cane or something like that in order to pull the person off stage, and I much prefer that animation. I would prefer it if that animation was used for like all of the people, because it's just like so frustrating when you see a person like tilt their head up and thinking, oh, they're getting back up to fight me, I better go knock their block off, and then it turns out, oh no, they're already dead, and now because I walked over there, I've now lost my combo and there's no way for me to continue that on. So, you know, like 185 combo that you had is gone, which is just lovely. Also, it is very possible to get an 185 combo. I've done it before. It's actually surprisingly easy to get 100 plus combos in this game. Bit odd. More cutscenes, yay. And there's no way for me to skip this despite having played through it multiple times. Select? No. Any of the face buttons? No. D-pad? I would be really surprised if the D-pad did it. That would be actually... I was gonna say awesome, but no, that would be dumb. Incredibly dumb. But whatever. Let's just beat this guy up. And now we've got 2 stars, which is good. That means we've got a... We've impressed the crowd even more. We've also got to start performing more of this stuff that's... Oh, wait, hold on. No. I performed all those challenges. What am I even saying? I was thinking, like, why have I not gotten any of this stuff here? But no, it's because I've already done it, so I don't need to do it again. Alright, let's just beat this guy up. Now, it's because of the counter thing. It's really easy to just stay alive in this game. Actually, hold on. I'm not even sure you can die in this game. Let's see what happens when I get hit. Like, also, I just want to mention that the, okay, so it's all red and stuff. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm going to die? Can I die? Oh, you can die. Wow. That's really interesting. Huh. I've never actually died before this. Like, oh, there is checkpoints? What? Can I skip the things now? No, I still can't skip them. Wow. Huh. That's really interesting. Like, I had no idea you could actually die in this game. I figured, like, you would just get down to a certain like multiplier, and that would be it. Because honestly, I've played this game for like 3 hours right now, and I've never died once. Okay, so that goes to show like what sort of skill level this game is intended for. It's not intended for the hardcore, because it is really easy, and it's really difficult. Like, it's more difficult for me to die. So if you're just sort of a casual player and you want a game that you can just pretty easily breeze through, then I can recommend this game, because yeah, it doesn't seem that tough at all. But it also does have a lot of like replayability, I suppose, and it could get more tough if you're aiming for a 5-star ranking, which is, you know, it adds a bit of replayability to it and stuff. Although with the whole replayability thing, you know, this sort of shit where you can't skip a cutscene does get a bit annoying, because, you know, there are certain levels where it's the majority of it is cutscenes, and you'll spend like 2 to 5 minutes just watching cutscenes, and that's 2 to 5. And like when you're on your fourth playthrough of the game, that's a lot of time you've spent just watching cutscenes that you already know about and you don't really care about, and you'll just be spending all of your time just mashing the A button, going like, okay, yep, read this, can we skip this please? And the game's like, nope, because we said so. We wrote this, damn it, and you're going to enjoy it. It's pretty ridiculous. Alright, let's get out of here. Get you out of here. Alright, okay, so yeah, there are a lot of interesting little combos. Also, the art style is, I suppose the art style is a good representation of the game's difficulty. It is really not a very difficult game at all, and I suppose that's what they're going for with this art style. It's supposed to look like a child-friendly game, because that seems to be the target audience with this game. You know, it's got enough like complexity to appeal the slightly more hardcore people if you're going for like a 5-star ranking, but for the most part, it's definitely going for a easygoing sort of crowd that just wants to mess about. Also, this game is intended for co-op, but unfortunately it only supports 2-player co-op, so if you've got 4 people and you want to play co-op, that's out of luck, which is a bit weird, because this game seems to be most directly related to castle crashes. Okay, this is actually something pretty interesting. If you search for castle crashes on the Steam website, you'll actually get the Castle Crashes demo, Castle Crashes of the game, and then some DLC for Castle Crashes, and then you'll get this game, and those are the only results. So that's how related to Castle Crashes this game is. Actually searching for Castle Crashes will result with this game being shown, which I just find hilarious. But yeah, so, which is weird, because like in Castle Crashes, like it is 4-player, so I'd imagine like those people who enjoyed Castle Crashes would probably be the ones to pick this game up, but then those who did pick up Castle Crashes probably already have a group of 4 people ready to play. So it seems a bit weird that they would want to like separate them up, but maybe it's just to try and differentiate themselves from Castle Crashes, I guess. But I think the combat system and all the rest of it does a good enough job to differentiate them. So I don't think the whole splitting up the player base, or rather halving the amount of on-screen players, is like a good way to do it. If that was even their intention, it probably wasn't. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I'd like it if they made it 4-player co-op as well. But I'm fine with 2-player co-op. I'm fine with that. Also, here's what I was talking about with like the whole people interrupting the screen and then talking about it and stuff like that, and then we've got to impress the crowd. So like this is all about impressing the crowd and stuff, and yet like lots of times they'll just like not mention it when the game goes all different and stuff. It's very odd, very odd. Like certain times, like just the most outrageous sort of special effects will happen. It just is weird. Anyway, on to some different things about the game. The animations are really smooth, and I do like how they don't get in the way of like the actual game. And also, something that I only just sort of recently noticed while I was playing is that this game doesn't have the same problem that a lot of other beat-em-ups do that are this sort of 2.5D style. It's that you'll never really struggle that much when you're attacking on an enemy that's on a different like plane or whatever, like a different side of the screen. Like you'll never, for the most part, like really just mash against the air, just trying to get someone, and you're just like attacking slightly in front of them, slightly behind them. The game is genuinely forgiving enough to the point where they'll just sort of allow your hits to go through, and if not, then they'll sort of like auto aim you forward towards them. So like if we go slightly below this guy, and then we'll just we'll slightly move forward and upwards toward him if he was alive still. So it's pretty forgiving in that regard, which is pretty cool. So it's really nice to like play a 2.5D beat 'em up game where you don't just slash at air for the majority of the game. Alright, so the way, let me just quit the main menu. So the way each game is set up is that you have acts. So at the time of recording, I have only beaten the first 3. I'm on 4, and there's 5 acts in each one. So we've got, well, actually, for some reason, Act 5 only has 2. I'm sure that's some climactic reason. But yes, so there's 5 acts in each, sorry, there's 5 levels in each act. And each one lasts for about 15 minutes, and the last one actually lasts about 5 or 6. So it takes about an hour to beat each act. So there is a decent amount of content in this game. You know, like for the first 4 acts, it'd probably take around 4 hours to beat. And the game is $15, so that's a fairly decent value for money, fairly decent. And there is also the 5-star sort of stuff, so you do get that bit of replayability. Also, here's something that's pretty interesting. You've got these charms, which you can unlock more for 5-starring each level. So if I 5-star another one, I'll get this one. If I 5-star another one, I'll get that one, and so on and so forth. And these sort of are basically, well, they up your sort of abilities, really. So for this, if we were to equip it, we would get a +3 combo for every successful parry, which is actually pretty useful. So if every time we press B when an enemy is about to attack, we can get +3 for our combo, which is very nice. For this, we can receive 15% more fame every time it is awarded. So every time we get a little bit of fame, it'll be 15% more, which is also really nice and also helps out. And the mood meter will increase faster, and I like putting the mood meter will increase faster and the 15% more fame thing together. So I like putting those together because they sort of like relate to each other. And you'll get more fame because the mood meter is increasing faster and stuff like that. I don't know what fame does, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, so that's basically what Foul Play is. It's a pretty interesting game. The story is pretty rubbish, though. It seems like the writer was the only one who wasn't really into the fact that they're making fun of something. Or rather, just not being serious about everything and just messing about. Because it seems like, yeah, it is played for, like, fairly straight, which is odd. Anyway, yeah, you see here, like, 5-star ranking, and I didn't do a single challenge. 5-star ranking here, I only did 1 challenge. Yeah, so, anyway, yeah, this has been my first impressions on Foul Play. You can purchase this game on Steam, but I don't know if it's available right now at time of recording. I think it'll be available for purchase in a day or 2, or something like that. I think you should be able to pre-purchase it for about $15, so it's pretty damn fun. If you're into this sort of Castle Crasher sort of gameplay, but you don't have 4 people and you had 2 people instead, so say you're like, I don't know, like boyfriend and girlfriend, and you really enjoy like beating people up in Castle Crashers, well then I suppose I can recommend this to you. For everyone else, I suppose, you know, like whatever. Anyway, on that note, thank you for sticking around, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and GG.